Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to just give everyone a couple minutes to get logged in for our live webinar, and then we'll get started. In the meantime, while we're waiting for everyone to get logged in and comfortable for the webinar today, we'd love for you to go into the chat box and tell us where you're joining us from. Right now, most of us here at ACHS, some of us do go onto campus in Portland here and there, but most of us do work from home. So I'm technically in Vancouver, Washington today. Ooh, Michigan, West Virginia, Delaware. Wow, we have students all over. California, few Washingtonians. Michigan, that's awesome. Alaska, Maine, Tennessee, Texas. Oh my gosh, we have an awesome variety of locations today. That's so cool. And just a tip, when you're doing the chat box, you can make sure that everyone can see your message. You just have to change from host and panelist to click everyone. And we're, again, yeah, so glad that you could be with us today. Awesome. I think slowing down a little bit, everyone logging in. Well, go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for attending our live webinar about admissions. My name's Amanda. I'm the Dean of Admissions here at the college. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about admissions, the programs we offer here at the college, and we have our guest speaker, Dr. Nagel from our Herbal Department. So we're super excited about that. He's going to be talking to us about his background and even doing a little hands-on project. So we have a little surprise coming in for you. So a little bit about ACHS. We're founded in 1978. So we've been around over 40 years, and we are accredited and recognized by the U.S. Department of Education. We only offer online programs. Our certificates up through our degree programs, as well as our continuing education courses, 100% online. We are also a proud certified B Corp. So that's something we really just are really proud of in our mission and focus on sustainability. Here's our current admissions team. You may recognize some names or faces if you've already been working with somebody and started the admissions process or researching some of our programs. But I work also with Molly, Chelsea, and Jessica. And who are we? How do we help you? So our admissions team is really here to be your resource and your advocate through the entire process. We're here to coach you, help you figure out what program is going to be the best fit with your goals and needs. We're going to help you through the steps of the admissions paperwork itself, ordering transcripts, preparing your application for the committee. And in fact, even through admissions and acceptance, we're here to help you figure out the funding aspect, as well as actually getting enrolled and registered for your first courses. So we don't just throw you to the wolves. You're going to have a dedicated advisor, or you can even look at us having the full admissions family. We're all here to assist you and make sure you're taken care of, so you don't have to figure it out by yourself. We have a huge variety of programs, some very specific modalities, and they range, like I said earlier, from certificates up through degrees. Our undergraduate programs are designed for students that do not have their bachelor's degree yet. And so you just have to have a minimum of a high school or equivalency to apply into some of the undergraduate programs. If you're just looking to study one specific modality, one professional, pathway, the certificates can be a great fit because they're shorter in nature and they're not including all those gen ed classes. So we have certificates in aromatherapy, herbal medicine, nutrition, wellness consulting, natural products manufacturing. So very focused in on those career areas. We also have 3 primary diploma programs. Our diploma programs are professional credentials, just like a certificate, but they have a few more courses required to earn that diploma. So those additional classes include those core like aromatherapy or herb or nutrition classes, but it also incorporate things like anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology. And so they go from about 16 credit hours up between about 30 to 40 credit hours to earn that credential. Another reason someone may choose a diploma over a certificate program is there may be different pathways within some different professional organizations, or different programs may qualify you for different eligibility to sit for certain exams. So that might be another reason you complete that diploma over a certificate. However, anyone who starts with a certificate program and later wants to complete their diploma with us, those credits can stack and roll forward. So for example, if you earn the certificate in herbal studies first and decide you want to earn your diploma, we can take those credits, move them towards the diploma program, and you would just finish out those remaining courses. And then we have 4 degree programs now. We have the Associates of Applied Science and Integrative Health Sciences, an Associates in Health and Wellness, a bachelor's degree in Integrative Health Sciences, and a bachelor's of Science in Holistic Nutrition. Again, any credits earned from a certificate or diploma program can transfer into the associates or bachelor's. As well, the associates and bachelor's degrees are going to have general education requirements that are not part of the certificate and diploma programs. I get the question a lot is, do we accept transfer credit, especially for students that may have already earned 30, 40, 50 credits or have a previous associate's degree? Yes, our registrar will review all of the transcripts you have on file upon acceptance and do that evaluation and review for transfer of credit. We want to see you save as much time and money as possible in that regard. We also offer challenge exams. So if you have a vast background in a specific area or field and would like to try to test out of a course, that is 100% an option as well. So your advisor will work with you on the best options there as you look into completing a full degree program. As far as time of completion, it really depends on the program and the student. Not all of my students are attending full time. Some of my students are only going 1 class at a time or 2 or 3 classes at a time. So your advisor will work with you individually to figure out, based on how much time you can put into school, what that timeline towards graduation will look like. So for students that have already earned their bachelor's degree or higher, we want to look at our graduate programs. So if you already have a bachelor's degree, post-grad work, any other professional credentials, PhD doctorates, a graduate certificate can be a great option if you're not looking for, say, a full master's degree. Our graduate certificates, again, are very focused in those specific modalities like aromatherapy, herbal medicine, but they're comprised of the graduate level work. If you want to start with certificate and then look into a master's degree, again, those credits from the graduate certificate can roll right into the master's programs. But if you are looking at a specific career path, you have not been to graduate school before, jumping right into a master's degree might be the best option for you. And here's the cool thing. There are no prerequisites outside of having that bachelor's degree to apply to a graduate program. So no prerequisite courses. Your bachelor's degree does not have to be in a certain major. We have students of all different backgrounds, from literature to engineering, that have changed pathways or altered their career path a little bit, their success rates are the same no matter what their background is. If the passion and that perseverance to be a graduate student is there, totally fine. Our 5 master's degrees are in aromatherapy, integrative health sciences, herbal medicine, holistic nutrition, and health and wellness. So I found typically there's a program that fits everybody. And again, your advisor can help you navigate that or even choose between 2 based on your short-term and long-term professional and personal goals. And this is pretty exciting because we get a lot of feedback that we have students interested in incorporating some of the business aspects into their programs. So we do have some new business courses for the undergraduate students. We have Business 101, and then we have also marketing. And we also actually have a 3rd undergrad course now in business communications. But we know marketing especially has been really popular with how fast social media changes and advertising. So a lot of students have been choosing that as an elective recently. And then at graduate level, we have a series of business classes. And one that stood out to us is business law. There's a lot of different ways students can take the holistic health field. Maybe taking a business class as part of an elective in the program you've chosen is a good option, or using that to get onto a certain career path in the business or legal world around the holistic health field. Let's see, I love that people are asking some questions. So I'm going to take a quick pause and take a quick review. Angela asked, I'd like to achieve all 5 modules for what you offer. Yeah, for students that want to study a little bit of everything, the best options for programs at the graduate level would be our Master's of Science in Integrative Health Sciences, Angela, because you can build and design your own master's degree. At the undergraduate level, both the associate's and the bachelor degree program options we have so many elective options. You can study all the different modalities within those and come out upon graduation very well-rounded. We also have students that will sometimes within their programs earn different certificates. So if you plan out your program right, and again, it's working with your advisor to schedule that out, is picking the right classes to fulfill those goals along the way. And the key is then upon graduation, you would apply for graduation for each program you've met the requirements of. So it's not uncommon at our graduation every year to see certain students have planned out their programs a certain way where they're gaining different credentials within their degrees as well. Or maybe even doing multiple certificates or diplomas throughout the calendar year. And then we have some questions about transcripts. Looks like those are a little bit more personal based on your individual files, but the students that have transcript questions, we can check in with your advisor, check with your file after the webinar today and look at specifically what has came in, but we can definitely help you with all of that. So a little bit real quick about industry organizations. We as a college involved in the field, we want and encourage our students to be involved immediately. A lot of these organizations are very important to the industry, but also a great way for you to start being involved, networking, and know what's going on. As well, there's different credentials and things that beyond membership that can be important to your professional, accomplishments. So we are aligned with NAHA, the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy, and all of our programs meet different requirements within the level 2 and level 3. We also are aligned with the Alliance of International Aromatherapists and the Aromatherapy Registration Council. So students that are wanting to sit for the exam to be a registered aromatherapist, you'd want to communicate that with your admissions advisor so they can help you get in the right program. Because, for example, as an undergrad, you have to make sure that you get certain amount of case studies and anatomy and physiology work to meet those requirements. As well, the students that are focused in and passionate about herbal medicine, we're aligned with the American Herbalist Guild. They offer professional and student memberships as well. Our herbal programs meet the educational requirements to start the pathway towards being a registered herbalist. For our nutrition-focused students out there, we have the National Association of Nutritional Professionals. Again, they have student and professional memberships, and most of our programs, diploma, associate, bachelor's, and our master's degrees are all pre-approved for our graduates to sit for the board exam to be certified in holistic nutrition as well. So double check, see if there's any questions, and you guys don't be shy, throw the questions at me as we go along. So there's a question, how do we transition from Hawthorne to ACHS? Honestly, our students that have attended Hawthorne in the past, we will work with you to look at transfer of credit and then looking at what program might be the best fit based on what you've already accomplished and what program you're wanting to complete with us. So we will work with you one-on-one to make that happen. Let's see, is your school associated with insurance for us? That's a fantastic question. There are some of the professional organizations that offer some of the information and pathways, and we can share that a little bit more about that as we go along. So I will find that link here in a little bit and post for you, Charity. Okay. And then, yes, Marcus, you definitely want to always work with your admissions advisor. Make sure you're in the right programs and whatnot to get headed in the right pathway, for sure. That's what we're here for. And then we have an awesome question about admissions requirements. Do you need ACT or SAT test? No, not at all. That's becoming less and less common in general among colleges and universities. You just need your, for undergraduate work, Chloe, you just need a minimum of your high school transcripts. If you've attended college, your college transcripts. And then of course, we have the short essay questions that are part of your admissions packet. So your previous academics are reviewed, not your ACT or SAT test. But if you've already taken them and like to submit them, they will be part of your reviewed packet. And then Alex is asking, when's the best time to apply? I graduated with my bachelor's in fall 2022. Congrats, you're away. If you're wanting to start classes for a graduate program right away in the springtime, Alex, I would start the application process around September, October next year, right when you're graduating. So that way you can jump right into spring classes that start in January. Good question. So next, this is my favorite part of the whole webinar. We're going to be speaking with Dr. Glen Nagel, and he's with us today. So he's going to talk a little bit about his department, his background, his professors, and he has a really fun little live demonstration with us today as well. You want to take over?
All right. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Amanda's done a great job. Admissions, of course, is a really important part to answer your questions, to get in here. Our role is to get you excited and to get you skilled and to get you in our field of herbal medicine. That's my specialty. I'm a naturopathic doctor and herbalist, an AHG professional member. And my background is so diverse. I mean, I've been actually the chair of the herbal medicine program for 1 year. I think I'm next week. And before that, I've taught. I love to say my career as an herbalist has been very diverse, which is, I think, the strength of herbalism is diversity. And so I've been, for about 15 years, I've been an educator. I've taught, privately. I've taught in education, like here at ACHS. I taught for 8 years at Naturopathic College at Bastyr in Seattle and the National College here. So I educated naturopathic doctors on herbal medicine. But I've also worked in clinical end. And so I've had my own clinical practice for 12 years as an herbalist and a naturopath. I supervise naturopathic students in the naturopathic education. And then the other piece is I've worked for 10 to 12 years in the herbal industry. I've worked for many of the top herbal companies as a formulator, as an educator, as a production person, learning, this is the skill. Many of our students want to have a little bit of everything, which is in the herbal background, because our students come from all kinds of background, seeking jobs in the herbal industry, seeking to be a clinical herbalist, seeking to be a production, opening up their own stores, opening up a holistic practice. We can support the beginnings of all those processes. We have a diverse degree, as Amanda was pointing out, from the undergraduate. I think the main two in the herbal program are the 36 and I think 39 credits, the diploma or the master herbalist undergraduate, and the graduate degree in herbal medicine. And they're like parallel tracks, one's at the undergraduate level. And those are the best ones if you're interested in the AHG professional certification. Now remember, the AHG certification has two parts. We meet the requirements for the 800 hours of the educational part. That's anatomy, physiology, materia medica, all the science of herbalism. Then there's also a 400-hour clinical requirement. And so we introduce students to clinic. We have cases and we study a clinical aspect, but we don't have a clinical clinic, so to speak. We don't have case taking as part of it. That's maybe one of the differences with aromatherapy is they're much more clinical oriented because their degree actually has 30 clinical cases that are taken. The HG requirement is 80 cases over 2 years and 400 hours. So we have pathways to help support you to get there. Mostly it's through a mentorship program, finding somebody in your community and we're working on pathways to create ways we can help support our students in that. But everybody's goal is different. The clinical herbalist is not necessarily what everybody wants to do. Herbalism in this country is not licensed as a standalone practice. So you can practice as a clinical herbalist, but you cannot diagnose and treat. And so one of my own backgrounds is I loved herbs. I studied herbs for years. Then I realized I wanted to be a clinical herbalist. And so I became a naturopathic physician because we're licensed as primary care physicians in 22 states that we can diagnose and treat and prescribe herbs. So that's a method that you could do. And I think we have 4 or 5, including myself, herbal faculty that are naturopathic doctors because we have the clinical training to be able to help support you in that clinical knowledge. We also have 1, 2 acupuncturists, and that's the other degree that in this country is allowed. If you have an acupuncture degree, you can prescribe herbs, Chinese herbs or Western herbs in your practice because that's under the scope, depending state by state, where your licensing is. But we have a lot of students, and I would say maybe even something like half of the students that just are interested and haven't quite figured out what they're, beyond supporting themselves and their own health patterns and their family and friends, maybe that's the biggest goal, to learn enough so that you can help support yourself. And as you go through these programs, especially the diplomas, the certificates, you learn enough. As Amanda said, you may consider stacking it and getting another degree or moving on. And that's one of the beauties of the degrees, because all of a sudden you find through studying, you become much more passionate about herbal medicine. And so what I'm excited about as the dean is that we get to work with you in the online, wherever you're at in format. And so what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to give you a little demo. I'm here at my home kitchen, and I'll change the cameras so you can see. It's usually not this clean. No, but there's a recipe right here. And so I love doing hands-on demonstrations, and all our classes have herbal labs. One of the beautiful things about our school is we send you for each class an herb kit. Contains 25 to 30 herbs, essential oils in a box so that you have labs that you can do at home that we can show you how to do, and so that you get the hands-on experience about making herbal salves and tinctures and oils, syrups. And so this is a holiday herbal hot toddy class that I've taught many times, because during this time of year, you want something warm maybe something alcoholic, but something herbal. And so here's all you need to make these ingredients to make 2 mugs, for you and your special friend. I got some holiday mugs. What you're going to need is some type of alcohol. I have some reserve apple brandy.
Nice.
Only thing that it has to be is something you like, and it has to be 40 proof. That means 80 proof. That means 40% alcohol. Remember, proof is just like a marketing thing. It doubles the number. But 40% alcohol. Then you're going to need some type of sweetener. And so I have organic dark brown sugar. You could use white sugar. Then we're going to need some type of liquid ingredients. I have either, you can do the ale style, which this is some grapefruit IPA, hoppy, and this is just raw apple cider press. So those are the 2 options we have to make. And then I have some bitters. These happen to be my homemade bitters. This are smoked cedar bitters, and this is orange bitters. Bitters, of course, are herbs that stimulate digestion. You find them in a lot of cocktails. Research actually shows that bitters help you decrease your alcohol consumption. And so the barkeeper's secret is at the end of the night, they add more bitters to the drinks. It slows down people's demand for alcohol. And then we're going to have some herbal ingredients. I got ginger. I got beautiful red roses. I got cardamom. I got orange. I got grapefruit. I got wonderful sweet cinnamon. And so cinnamon, many of these spices you're going to already have, but we're going to herbally infuse these in our drinks to make them really wonderful.
Ooh, I added cardium to my applesauce the other day.
Yeah, so you need a little measurement for alcohol. You need a little flamer so we can light this baby on fire. And then I have some grapefruit juice. What I like about this is I'm going to use the juice to sour the drink, and then I'm going to use the zest for the top of the drink. So let's see if I can move this camera a little bit closer, and you can kind of just see exactly what I'm doing, right? All right, I got a pan here, about a 9-inch pan, stainless steel. Don't use your best pans for this. Don't use Teflon or anything. You want a nice stainless steel surface. I'm going to heat that up, and I'm just going to warm it up. And so the first step that we're going to do here is we're going to caramelize some sugar. So I'll walk you through the process, and then I'll do it. So we're going to take some of the sugar, we're going to caramelize it. We're not going to burn it, but we're going to get it slightly burnt. Then I'm going to pour the alcohol in there. Then I'm going to light it, and it's going to flame up. So you really want to do this in the kitchen. You can see I got a hood up there so that I'm not going to flame out my house. I might turn the lights out to do this because it's really exciting. So the recipe calls for 2 ounces of alcohol. So I'm going to pour that. Now remember, alcohol is very flammable, so I have glasses on. I have my little jacket here so I don't get myself all messed up. I think I'm going to start with ale. Let's start with the cider. So I have my cider open. I'm warming up the pan. It starts with about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar on medium heat. And basically we're going to melt this. And burnt sugar is caramel, and it's great. Everybody loves, if you take white sugar and you burn it, you get caramel. And that's how you make caramel sauce with, butter. And so as it starts melting, I'm going to get my ingredients. And so then what I'm going to do, once it starts melting, is I'm going to put the alcohol, and then I'm going to flame it. And then I want to be sure to have my liquid, about 2 to 4 ounces of either beer or, in this case, apple cider. So we're going to make a sweetened herbal hot toddy. All right, it's starting to get a little melted. And I think you can kind of see that. I don't want to get too close. I'm going to also bring my zest here so that I can add the zest and the grapefruit juice. It's nice to stir it here. Oh, now I can see it's starting to melt. This is really fun to do, and this is a bar technique because the flaming part is super exciting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the lights. You can still see, right? Yep. Now watch. So you want to get your alcohol ready. You can see it's melting. It's not burning, but it's getting there. It's burning there a little bit. All right. It's just about perfect. I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit. I'm going to put the alcohol in. Woo! And then you put the drink in there to kind of turn it out, right? I've had 10-foot lengths. So now I've put this, now I'm going to heat the sugar and I'm going to put a little more of the cider in there. All right, and now we're going to go with some herbs in here because this is going to warm up. I'm melting the sugar. So now I'm going to grate maybe a teaspoon of fresh ginger. I'm going to crush a couple of my cinnamon sticks in here. And then I'm going to drop in a little bit of crushed cardamom, or you could put the pods in there. And now you can see we're melting the sugar. And so we have brown sugar and apple cider and alcohol. Now, if you let the alcohol flame too long, you basically flame it all out. And so we want to make sure that we leave some so that this will be a sweet and toddy. Uh-oh! Now I know I'm doing something right. That's how you know you're doing something right, when the smoke alarm goes off. All right, and see how it's cooking there? You'd like to get it so that all the sugar is dissolved and the aromatics start coming out. A little bit more, and now I'm going to get my glass. One thing you do need is, I like to strain out with a strainer the pieces, but we're going to add a little bit more. So I have a little bit of a strainer here. And this is usually good for 2. Right now I have about enough for 1. And I'm going to add a little bit of my grapefruit juice. And I'm going to stir, and now I have a hot toddy. And this, we're going to end with a little bit of zest of fresh grapefruit. Now, grapefruit, lemon, lime, citrus, got to remember there's 2 really useful things in that. We have the juice, which is an acid, but the flavor is in the peel. And so we put a little bit of the juice to acidify, because the sour and sweet is a great combination. And now we're going to just take a little zest. And of course the zest has all the terpenes, the essential oils, and that's what's going to smell. And so we don't have smell-o-vision here, but wow. So this is what I have, is a hot toddy. You might want to, put an extra cinnamon stick in here for just looks. And you can serve it like that. You can see cinnamon floating, and that is super delicious. A little bit of alcohol, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of ginger. And you can do the same thing. I think I'll just do the one demo. The second recipe involves using ale, beer, your favorite beer. That adds the hoppiness. That's why I like using IPAs. The IPAs are an amazing hop flavor, and they go really well with the brown sugar. And you could mix apple cider and ale also. Oh, what I forgot was the bitters. I put those in at the end. Of course, bitters contrast the sweet and make it more flavorful. So what you have in here is a really amazing herbal apothecary of flavors, because we have sweet, we have sour, we have bitter, we have aromatic. And so if you did this with wine, you would call it, the traditional thing is glug. So you could also do this with like a red wine and the same kind of holiday spices. Glug is, a European, Scandinavian. It's a sweetened aromatic herb wine. You can heat it on the stove. But this is quite dramatic because of the flame up. And, when you do it in a bar at night, it's crazy exciting because those little flames. Any questions on that? Oh, now I got the sweet and I got the bitter flavor combination.
Yeah, we actually have a really good question about um, from Sophie. You stated that you can diagnose and treat in 22 states as a naturopathic physician. Do you see this changing in later years to include more states? And then are you able to do electronic consultations with someone in a legal state? Or is it like therapists who have to get certifications for each state to be able to practice?
Well, as a naturopathic physician, I have a license in Oregon. In Oregon, we're licensed as primary care physicians. That allows me to uh, see clients either personally or electronically here in this state. But it does not allow me to see them outside of the state unless they moved. So if I had a patient that I saw regularly and then they moved, there was some loosening of the laws during the pandemic, but basically herbalists have no licensing, and so they're allowed to consult with anybody anywhere because, again, they're not diagnosing and treating. And so the thing that we're strongly able to support you in is the terminology of herbalism is the structure function claims and the wellness claims. So we can't say I'm treating your infection. We can say I'm supporting your immunity. And so as a naturopathic physician, I'm licensed by the state. I'm also required to report diseases. There's all kinds of things that require me to do. I think the freedom of an herbalist is that you're trained well enough to understand where you need to refer and where it's outside of your scope. And so in a state like Oregon, there are herbalists that practice and they refer to naturopathic physicians, and I may refer people to medical doctors, because the one thing that's really true about natural medicine is there's no black and white. It's many shades of gray. And so sometimes people need drugs, sometimes people need surgery. It's us to determine who goes one way and who goes the other way, because I think one of the things we see for the herbalist, the more you're trained and the better you're trained, the more you understand that reality. If you think herbs can treat everything 100%, I tell you, after 35 years in this field, I don't think that's true. Herbs have their strength in the wellness model. That means you don't feel so good, but you're still moving around. Once you're in the hospital, severely ill, laying horizontal, that's probably outside of the scope of what we can do. Now, there's always things we can do to help people, but the sweet spot, and I'll give you an example, when I was in clinical practice. I'm not in clinical practice now. I'm the dean. I'm teaching. I'm more retired from practice, but I did that for many years. But one of the things that happens is that, say a patient comes in with a kid, they have ear infections, they're on antibiotics, the doctors want to give them more antibiotics that don't seem to be working. We find out, a lot of times food allergies are related to that. We adjust their diet. We might take out dairy. We might give them some immune supporting herbs like elderberry and echinacea. We might give them some vitamin C. We might give them some zinc. And lo and behold, 6 weeks later, they're all better and they don't get ear infections anymore, because we've tweaked them, we've nudged them to a healthy model. And that's that holistic model. It's not just one thing, but a whole bunch of things. And that's why we have aromatherapy, herbal, holistic studies, nutrition, because guess what? They all work together. And I like to call all of them nudge medicine. By themselves, they may not seem so profound because herbs are not drugs. But when you nudge somebody onto a path of help, they get empowered and amazing things can happen. And the analogy that I always use is, I'm your friend, the herbs help me. And so one day, I'm walking, I'm not paying attention, and I start walking out into the street. And if you nudge me back, you save my life. But that nudge is just a small little push. And so when you take a nudge of herbs and a nudge of aromatherapy and a nudge of nutrition, it can be very, very powerful. But it's not necessarily for everybody. And so I think what we do is empower people that are ready to take the empowering care. And I think of it like a handshake. I reach out to shake your hand, and you reach out and meet my hand. Western medicine is more like the doctors do everything. You just lay there and they do treatments. We're an empowerment method. We encourage, and in fact, I remember when I was in practice, many times patients were like, they weren't willing or able to reach out and take care of themselves. They're not willing or able to do the preparations and the herbal therapies or change their diet or start exercising. And so for those, they may fail in natural medicine because they don't have the skills. And so I think a bumper sticker I have for herbal medicine is we're skill doctors, not pill doctors. We teach people life skills, how to make a hot toddy, how to make a tincture, how to make a salve, and all these things nudge you along. And so to wrap this up, our programs really try to give you a great introduction to herbal medicine. It is a lifelong study. I've been studying it 35 years and I learn something every time. And so, I learn with you why I do this. And so we try to give you the framework which the herbal medicine can weave its strands. It is a lifelong of learning. And so you will, on the undergraduate level, have an undergraduate level knowledge and then a graduate school. And so that's what's exciting about herbal medicine is working together and learning it, getting some hands-on experience. So take these recipes, try that at home. Just remember, have a hood, have flames are they can burn you, but I get to enjoy my hot toddy.
If anyone has questions as we go along, definitely don't be shy. We can come back to questions after the next few slides. And yes, Chloe, everyone's going to get a copy of the recording today. They'll have it by tomorrow. Awesome. So just real quick, going to go over a little bit more about the next steps of the admissions process. And then our Director of Library Services is going to give us a little tour of the classroom and all the resources we have for students. We get to talk about time a lot. We were talking about schedules earlier. I just want to throw out there and be very transparent that you must expect to be committing 8 to 10 hours a week into your studies for every class that you're enrolling into. So for example, if you know that you work part-time and you can manage about 20 hours a week for school, your advisor will probably have you only take 2 classes per semester. That's going to incorporate your writing, your studying, your reading, doing the hands-on assignments, the projects at home, taking quizzes, discussion boards. But here's the really cool thing. The classroom is available 24/7. And every Monday, for example, a new module begins and everything is due by Sunday night at midnight. So a student truly gets to create their own schedule and find something that works for them, whether it's doing reading and homework at 2 in the morning or breaking up and doing an hour here, an hour there throughout their day. Full-time for undergraduate students is 4 classes or 12 credits. So if you're attending full-time as an undergrad student, that's about 40 hours a week of school. If you're full-time as a graduate student, that's taking 3 classes per semester. The only caveat to the schedule aspect is our professors do schedule weekly live lessons. We've had tons of feedback and students have continued to share with us that they enjoy those. So, and our professors love to do them as well. So usually they'll schedule those at a time that works well for them and their classes. So you can attend live and have that in-person interaction, but they are recorded. So if you cannot make that live session that week, you can watch it later that evening and get caught up. And of course, our professors do Zoom appointments, phone appointments. They'll communicate their office hours and the best way to connect with them as well. We have a question. How many classes does a student typically take for master's? Alex, it totally depends on the student because it depends on how much time you have available and what's going to create the best balance between work, life, maybe school, family, kids, other activities, volunteering. So it's just something to start thinking really seriously about where your time is going to go. Do you need to work while you're in school? Do you not? Do you have other obligations? And your advisor will help you figure that out. Admissions requirements. We have, of course, our online admissions assessment. Students can go through the process step by step. It walks you through. And there's a couple short essay questions around your goals, what you're hoping to achieve, and why you've chosen the program and pathway you have. We need your official transcripts. If you've never been to college yet, we just need high school transcripts or your GED transcripts. If you have attended college, we'll assist you in getting those college transcripts. It's not just for transfer credit, but we're reviewing your academic history, your story, where you've been, and using that also to help coach you down the right pathway. And of course, if you are a student out there that's possibly using any type of veteran military benefits, there are additional compliance requirements we must follow with transcripts. So you may be asked to get additional transcripts outside of like a primary transcript on file. For graduate students, it's almost the same requirements, except we need your bachelor's degree and anything higher, post-grad, graduate work, PhD work, again, academic history, as well as we'll be looking at transfer credit. Additionally, we need a letter of recommendation from a professional reference. So that professional reference could be someone you've worked with, a manager, a colleague. It just has to be from a professional level person that's important in your life that can speak to your ability to do well in graduate school and your passion. So a little bit about cost. Of course, here's the basic numbers. Undergrad tuition is $372 a credit hour. Graduate is $578. When we do an estimate across the board of fees, all the kits and materials, buying your books, through the college, it averages out to just right over $300 a class. But if we average it together, an undergraduate, a 3-credit undergraduate course is about $1,400 a semester. The average cost of a 3-credit graduate course with everything included is about $2,000. So for example, if you're looking at a program that has 12 classes in it, you would just multiply 12 by the average cost, and they'll give you a projected total cost investment into that program. Funding options. How do we pay for school? A lot of my students use, honestly, a combination of things to pay for school. If you're working for a company or an employer that offers tuition reimbursement, tuition assistance, scholarships through the company, we'll help you take advantage of that. We work with all VA military spousal benefits through the military and VA. We also work with all state funding programs like VOC Rehab, Workforce, Trade Adjustment Assistance Program. If you're awarded any scholarships like through Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, or private organizations, again, we can take advantage of that. You, of course, can pay for each semester in full if you're in that position to do so. Maybe you have a college account or been saving up for school. Really popular is our in-house payment plan. There's no credit checks, no fees, no interest. So if it's better for your budget to turn your semester total into 4 equal payments, we can do that. You would just make 4 payments every semester and break that up. And of course, financial aid is available to students that qualify in eligible programs. So that's an option as well to see as undergraduates, are you eligible for any Pell Grant funds? Your FAFSA, when you file that, determines your eligibility. And then of course, what student loans as an undergrad or graduate student you might be able to take advantage of. So officially, what's next? Right now, we've been working with students to apply for classes that start on January 10th. So students that have gotten through the admissions process, they're wrapping up funding and getting registered by the deadline tomorrow. Students that might not quite make the classes on January 10th, we have a spring session 2 coming up. It starts on March 3rd. So if you're not wanting to wait until May, our summer term to get started, don't panic. You totally can still take classes this spring. Your advisor would just help you pick out a schedule that's going to work best during that shortened semester, but allows you to still jump in and not wait 4 months to get going. So you're not out of luck, and we're all here to help you find the best timeline that's going to work for you as well. If you're still interested in classes starting in January 10th, a month out, after Friday, we will help students register for classes as seats are available, but there is a late registration fee after Friday. So your advisor can help you with all of that and guide you through that process. So we're going to turn it over to Ashley. She's going to talk a little bit, like I said, about the classroom and all of our resources in the library for our undergrad and graduate students.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda. Okay, well, hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Amig, and I am the Director of Library Services and Instruction here at ACHS, or just the librarian. And today I'm going to walk you through our ACHS classrooms, specifically the Aroma 101 class, and just kind of give you an overview of what that looks like, and then briefly walk through our library launchpad, which is our digital library. So all of our classes are housed in the learning management system, Canvas, and they all have a very standardized look to them. So when you enter your classroom, you'll see a very similar look throughout each class. Here we are on the home page of Aroma 101. The home page will always have a left-hand navigation panel that points to some specific links within your classroom, specifically your syllabus, some of your assignments, a chat box that you can chat with your other classmates or your instructor, your grades, the library, and modules. So every course is divided into what's called modules, and a module can be anywhere from 1 week to 3 weeks long. And within these modules, you will see your course content and your assignments. So I'll briefly show that in just a little bit of what that looks like, but you can access your modules from the left-hand navigation panel, or if you actually scroll to the very bottom of the screen of your homepage, you'll also see each module broken up individually. So it links there as well. Additionally, in the left-hand navigation panel, you'll notice a Zoom link, which is a link to our live lessons that your instructors will host on a weekly basis. As Amanda said, these will be hosted on a weekly basis, but if you cannot attend the live session, then they're also recorded for you as well to watch later. And then a few different feedback buttons for you. So if you have feedback for the librarian, myself, or if you have feedback about the course or anything else, we have a button for you to press and give your feedback to. So I'm going to jump into the modules really quickly to kind of give you show you around what a typical module looks like here at ACHS. So clicking on the modules link in the left-hand navigation panel, the very first module you'll always see is the Start Here module within your course. You'll see a few different items within the Start Here module. The first is the Community Cafe, or excuse me, the second link is the Community Cafe. This is a discussion board that is a great place for you to introduce yourself to your classmates, kind of talk about what brought you to ACHS, what are your passions, what program you're enrolled in, just anything else you really want to let your classmates know about yourself. If you post in this discussion board also within, I believe it's like the first couple of days, you will receive some extra credit points towards your final grade as well. The other thing in the Start Here module I want to point out is your professor's virtual office. So your professor can be contacted here via the virtual office. This is also a discussion board, and it's a discussion board that all of your classmates can also see. So whatever you post here, whatever questions, please note that your classmates will also see these questions. However, if you do want to contact your instructor on a more personal matter, their contact information is always going to be listed here as well. Email address, and then sometimes they might include a cell phone or a number if they feel comfortable doing so. So jumping back into the modules, another thing I want to point out is the ACHS e-textbook. So some of our courses have e-textbooks that are embedded directly within the course itself. These textbooks are a main part of your course. They are downloadable. However, if you do want a print copy of these, we can direct you to our shipping department, who will be able to provide you a print copy for an additional cost. However, if you are just comfortable with the e-textbook version of the book, then you can view and read the textbook within your classroom itself. So these are a great resource that we provide for our students, and they're embedded in some of our classes, but not all of our classes. Another thing I like to point out about our modules are the module overview pages. Here is where you will see information about your textbooks, such as what you need to read for that module, what you need to complete in the module, and then it will also list some course or some module learning outcomes, meaning what you will accomplish after you have completed the module itself. So our courses also have a variety of different assignments. You'll sometimes see lab assignments, regular assignments, research papers, quizzes, tests, discussion boards, etc. I think the most popular and most exciting type of assignments we have here are the lab assignments. As Glenn and Amanda have mentioned, our students do receive some lab kits, either with herbs or aromatherapy essential oils, depending on which classes they take. And with those materials, then they will be able to complete their lab assignments. So I think that's a really exciting part of our courses here at ACHS. We have those really practical hands-on assignments for our students. So I'm going to quickly hop into the library launchpad because I know we're kind of running out of time here. And our library launchpad, I want to mention, is completely digital. We do not have a physical library on campus that we loan physical books out to our students. We unfortunately do not do that. However, we have a wide variety of resources that can help you during your research process. So the library is embedded within Canvas. Within every single classroom, you'll see a link to the library launchpad. The library launchpad is a single page that's comprised of all of our resources. Here's some information about how you can contact me during the day. I have an email address. I have a discussion board and also a feedback widget, which is basically another email format. And then you can also meet with me one-on-one via Zoom or phone if you feel comfortable and you want to get some more explanation about a library topic. So our library is composed of a bunch of subscription digital resources that can help assist you with your research papers, literature reviews, assignments, etc. So we have that in the Search the Library tab. We also have produced some help tutorials, some support tools for you. So if you are needing help on, say, how to search a specific database, how to evaluate a source, or how to format appropriately in the APA citation format, we have created some tools for you, some videos, we have some handouts, and we also have, just videos and handouts, but there's a ton of great resources here in the Research Help tab. We have a Journal Alerts tab, so these are just new alerts that come out every time a new article is published in PubMed on specific holistic topics. They get pushed here to the library and you can view them for free. We have also a lending service. So this is a relationship with a really large hospital library here in Portland, Oregon, that if we do not have something specifically for free here in our library, articles, anything for free that you come across, we can get that for you for free. We never want you to pay for an article, specifically if you're doing any research or studying. We always want to make sure we have something in your hand for free. So we never want you to pay for articles. We also have an APA and citations assistance. So these are just support tools for APA. And then lastly, our professional resources. So these are just some internally published ebooks that ACHS have put together, and we like to highlight them here on our library launchpad. So that's a quick overview of everything, and let's see if there's any questions that came through. Looks like okay, nothing regarding the classes or the library.
Hey, Ashley. We do have students asking about when they're going to get their login information. That does come the Monday or right before new student orientation begins this month. So if you're a student who's already gotten through acceptance, you've enrolled and registered for classes, you will be getting that email here. And I want to say about a week or so. Right before the self-paced new student orientation, the email will come from support@achs.edu. So all the new students will get it at the same time. So everyone's able to log in, work on their profile, and then begin the orientation. And we had a question if you've been a student previously. I don't believe that login will work anymore. So they're going to submit, still send you the new information. And then as well, once you guys get through new student orientation, because you guys have 10 days to do that, you'll also get all the information to create your school emails and things like that, or things of that nature. So, ooh, Ashley, there's a really good question from Laura.
Yeah, Laura,
oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I could read it myself. So
I didn't know you.
No worries. Sorry about that. So Laura asked, will there be a broad access to scientific papers for doctoral work? Yes, absolutely. We have several different databases. We subscribe to Science Direct, the Library and Information Resources Network, the Cochrane Library, Natural Medicines Database. We also have PubMed and Google Scholar and a ton of other open access resources. So you will be absolutely set for scientific papers with your doctorate.
And here's the other cool thing is I have a lot of peers that work at other schools and online colleges. We're very unique in that we do have Ashley. So students also can make one-on-one appointments if you guys need any assistance with your research, utilizing any of the databases. She really is amazing. You're not just having to go being thrown at a computer. You'll have her to guide you with any additional support. So it's something that we really appreciate her being here with us for. Okay, awesome. Well, if you guys have, we love everyone following us. We have an active Instagram account. You know, we're there on Twitter, Facebook. We have a lot of other like webinars and talks on our ACHS TV. You know, follow us, keep up to date. We're very active on our LinkedIn as well. And of course, don't be shy. If you have any questions, you can reach your advisor directly, but I always tell students, if you want to reach anyone at any time, admissions@ACHS.edu is always a classic, easy way to remember how to reach us as well. And if you guys have any questions, please give us a call, email us. And thank you so much for joining us today. It was so great speaking and getting to collaborate. Have a wonderful afternoon. Take care.